Oversharing story time. Because there is such a stigma around addiction and rehab, and you think it's only like these bad people or whatever. But let me tell you how I ended up in rehab. So, making the backstory as short as possible, I've been hospitalized like since childhood, on and off, for my anxiety. My anxiety was so bad I would miss months of school at a time. I have like nightmares still about the piles of work I would have to do when I came back. And I was taking daily meds for anxiety. They put me on Zoloft, which never helped, and like hydroxyzine kind of helps at night, but it doesn't really help when you're having a panic attack. And a whole list. Actually, I'm only mentioning those two because I don't even feel like going into the whole list. But sometime in my teenhood or like early 20s, they're like, this girl has actual issues. She's going to therapy. She's been going to therapy her whole life. She is taking her daily meds. She's doing all the things and meditating, all that. And she's not getting any better. And then either in my late teens or early 20s, they finally prescribed me benzos. And I do not remember exactly what my prescription was when I started, but I know that by the end of the time I was living in Pennsylvania, I was taking 2 a day, 2.5 milligrams a day. Then I moved to Texas, and it was okay for a while. I was still prescribed the same amount, and I was functioning, still having panic attacks. Even now I have god awful anxiety, but it helps a lot. But then something happened, and my insurance changed, and I went to a new doctor. And the new doctor said, well, we don't prescribe Klonopin. And I didn't know too much at the time, but I did know it was very unsafe to just get off Klonopin. Like, you can have seizures and die. Alcohol, Klonopin, or benzos are like the two things that can really kill you. So I guess the doctor realized this, and then instead of taking me off completely, I got 10 a month. So going from 60 to 10. And I am a person who, honest to God, has absolutely dreadful anxiety. If it weren't for these meds, I don't think I would have a job. I don't think I would leave my house. I'd probably just be stuck. So at the time, I was going through some really bad drama at work. I actually just had to leave a not good situation with an ex who happened to be my boss at work. So in the nighttime, I'm fleeing, getting my own apartment, trying to avoid him at all costs. Then he's my boss at work, and I need that job because guess what? I have to pay now double rent, double utilities, double everything, and I'm living on my own. And so getting screamed at by him and having to see his face when I just fled our living situation altogether was awful. And on top of it, I'm performing, my band is breaking up, and then getting new members, and just so much crazy stuff was happening. And I made good money at that job. Like, I could have left, but then I would have made less money. So anyway, then I started having these horrible, horrible panic attacks at work, and I was close to losing my job because I was freaking out. I would just leave customers and just completely go hide, and I'd be dry heaving and bawling and pacing and shaking uncontrollably. And a friend of mine who sincerely has anxiety too, but I don't know to what extent, said, I have Xanax. Do you need Xanax? And I was like, oh my God, yes. I've never taken it before, but I know that it's a benzo, and I understand how benzos affect me because I've been on them for like 10 years at this point. So I take the Xanax. It's not like magic. It's the closest thing to magic that modern medicine has, but, I'm able to get through my shift and through the day. And then he tells me, you can have more, because I was crying to him, explain my situation, how, I'm going through all this stuff, and then also I don't have my medication. And so he gives me a few more. Then later on, he explains that he's actually getting them from a friend, and they're not his, but that his friend is getting a new prescription, I thought, the next week or something. And I'm like, okay, cool, I will pay for them. So for a few months, I'm doing this, and I'm not trying to abuse them or do anything crazy. I'm just taking them because I need them, and going from 60 to 10, it was either 10 or 5 a month, is insane with my prescription. Then one day, I'm kind of in the flow of normally buying these things, and I'm like, okay, when can I buy some more? And my friend is like, well, my buddy should be getting like 800 in next week. And I'm like, wait, what? And that is when it hit me that these are not a prescription that he's selling and doesn't take, which is what I was under the assumption of. These are street made, who knows what's in them, possibly fentanyl, fake Xannies. So again, since I wasn't trying to abuse drugs or do anything crazy, I just wanted to be okay. I went to my doctor and I said, look, I can't function. I needed the medication. I bought these things assuming they were someone's prescription, and now I'm scared that I'm taking a bad substance. They could be laced with anything. So what'd they do? They sent me to an outpatient rehab center, and I swear, those people, I owe them my life. They were so sweet. They got me set up with financial assistance. When I first started getting sick with ME/CFS, which I'm not even going to go into, I had a lot of really weird symptoms. They Ubered me to the emergency room because they thought I was having a stroke because my symptoms were so crazy. They cared about me so much there. I love those people. Anyway, what happened there was I had to not drink any alcohol. I was tested all the time. Obviously not, I don't do other drugs, but have no drugs in my system. I had to take a test all the time. I always had to do neurological tests, make sure my balance wasn't off. And the idea was to prescribe me my real medication and then make sure I'm not testing for the other one, like I'm still buying them or whatever. And yeah, I had to go through all these different psychological evaluations and all this stuff. They also tested to see if there was fentanyl in the fake Xanax, and no, there was not, so that is good. But At the end, they decided, you know what? Your anxiety is so bad that you need to be on 2 Klonopin a day. So even in rehab, they sent me back, and now to this day, I take 2 Klonopin a day. And all of this happened because one doctor was not okay with it. And I get it. Benzos, I know this is going to be controversial because people, benzos are bad in a way. They're great, but they're bad. I'm not abusing them. I just take the 2 and sometimes 1 a day that I need. But you have to go through a lot to get them. And don't try to ask for them. I never tried to ask for them. I was just like, it's this bad. And that's how I got put on them. They are dangerous. If you take too many, if you abuse them, or even if you just take them the way that I do, you risk all these really bad rebound effects and even death. So I am warning you, do not just try to go get a prescription, and absolutely do not buy them off the streets. But if you honest to God need them, and you're with the right physician or psychiatrist, they will know. So anyway, I tell this tale to warn others, don't buy things off the streets. Also, just don't try to get a prescription because you think, like, you heard it's fun or something like that, or you want to abuse them. If you really need them, they're a lifesaver, but otherwise, stay away if you can. And I hate even mentioning my profession in this, but it's like, I'm a teacher and I work in education and I have for a long time, and I just want to let people know that, addiction and dependence and rehab can happen to anyone. And I just want people to be less judgmental.